Nothing is for sale in this video. No guns are for sale. No ammo is for sale. No modifications. Nothing illegal is done in this video. This video abides by all YouTube rules and regulations. Don't give me a strike, YouTube. All right, let's get started here, guys. I kind of want to do a part 2 to CW Longshot's beater rimfire challenge. I did the rifle, and a lot of guys did their rifles and stuff like that. I want to do some handguns challenge and for rimfire. And this is in some ways a lot more difficult for me to do than the rifles. You know, what I consider maybe a beater, I don't know, because I have a lot of nice 22 handguns, but I have some that's not quite as nice, you know. But let's get started here. Let's go with a Heritage Rough Rider Barkeep. Now, I suppose you could consider most any Heritage Rough Rider single action revolver, a beater, since they're so cheap. But this one here, single action, because it's got the short barrel on it. It functions great, fires great. I put this cylinder in it. Down at my gun shop, he had a whole bunch of different cylinders for these and sell them. I said, hey, give me a psychedelic one. I think it might look cool, and put it in there. Not the most accurate because it's got a short barrel, but, I could see this being a beater or something like that, something to throw in a tackle box, with some snake shot in it, and, have at it, Nothing wrong with the gun, though. I like this. It's fun to shoot, And I have a video coming up, of this one also, shooting right there. Can I hit 75 yards with it? You'll have to wait and see. Since we're on Heritage Rough Riders, we'll look at this one right here. This is a Heritage Rough Rider Tactical. Now, before you start laughing, a lot of you guys have already seen this before. I went to my gun shop one day, and he has a big bench in front of his counter, display counter, and this counter where he does sales at and stuff too, showing off all the pistols and stuff. Well, right above it, some guy had brung in a Kel-Tec Sub 2000 and had it all painted up clown colors like this. And I looked at that. I said, what the hell is that? That's the stupidest thing I ever did see. Now, I have a Sub 2000. I would never consider doing it. But the more I sat there and I was looking at the gun, the more I started liking it. I said, you know what? I said, give me one of those Heritage Rough Rider Tacticals. I want you to make it look wild like that Kel-Tec Sub 2000. Just use your own imagination, make it as crazy and wild as you can. So, my gun shop, he of course does gunsmithing, and, he'll paint rifles, Cerakote, and stuff like that, and put the coatings on them. And I said, just use your imagination, go wild with it. So he put this frog gig on the front, I guess. So, it's got fiber optic sights. He put he does wraps too, I guess. So he put this cheap Trigolo red dot on there, put a wrap around it. And, I thought this would be a fun one for the grandkids to shoot, and they do like it, hey, there. And believe it or not, I get asked a lot, to shoot this gun for some reason. I would like to take this to a regular gun range one of these days and see what kind of looks I can get from guys, if I start shooting this gun. It's a fun one, though. Works good, too. Okay, let's get on to this. Here we got an RG63. This is a Rohm, R-O-H-M. Rohm were made in Germany and imported in the United States in the 1950s and 1960s. 1968 gun law coming into effect about cheap imported guns coming in. They can no longer bring guns in. So Rohm skirted around the law, and they started manufacturing these in Miami, Florida in 1970 to 1986, I believe. And they were just labeled Rohm Industries, I believe. Okay, now Rohm is known for a lot of cheap Saturday Night Special stuff. Some are cheap and cheesy, like a RG10, which is a revolver handle. It just shoots 22 shorts. And if you got one that actually works or has all the parts to it, consider yourself lucky. I'd like to have one in my collection, but yeah, some were made better than the others. They made revolvers. 32 caliber. They made them in 38 special. They did make I know at least a 25 ACP semi-automatic, pistol. So, some bear. This, is kind of on the line of a Heritage Rough Rider in ways. It's pretty good, and I hesitate to call it a beater, but let's take a look at it right here. It's got, like I say, this is the RG63. If you look at, this does have a steel cylinder right here. It kind of looks like inserts right here, but this is a steel cylinder right there. It does have a barrel insert, and don't worry, I'm not going to shoot you through the camera. I already checked to make sure these weren't loaded. Maybe next week I'll shoot through the camera, show you how I can shoot through the camera, but not today. So, somewhere along the line, give this one some loving. And they colored in the grip here because this ain't normal like this, and they glued on a 50-cent piece onto each side. Kind of cool. So the gun's worth at least $1. So, not selling any guns, YouTube. This one here, I'll let you look right here. This is an 8-shot, which is pretty cool. Let me do right here. You single action, and this is a double action only. I'm not going to let it smack. It has a separate firing pin. It is not on the hammer right here. Notice that. So, pretty decent shooting. Not single action, but revolver. For what it is. It's got your basic, revolver sights back here, just a groove. So, kind of cool and shiny. So, okay, let's go with another Rome. This is RG24, and give it to them. They're trying to build something a little more better right here. This one actually has a crane. Excuse me. Moves out there, and with the star that ejects your shells. Pretty cool. This one, let me get a drink real quick. I'll pause for a second. Okay, I didn't want to be coughing in your ear. So this is a 6-shot. It's also single. I want you to see there the firing pin is on the hammer. You definitely don't want to dry fire this one right here. Once it's bad is bad, You probably don't want to dry fire most rimfires anyway, but it's also single and it's double action. I'll let you see right there. The barrel is all steel, so is the cylinder. No inserts right there. So they're trying right there. This right here, the sight kind of wraps around there. I can't tell if that's plastic or pot metal. Hard to tell. But what I did notice about it, these barrels are pinned in right here. You can see that little pin right there. But if you look right here, the barrel's got in there. Yes, I have shot this a few times, stuff. And for what it is what it is. It shoots accurate enough for what it is. Okay. Now, here's one I really would consider a beater. This is a Chiappa 1873 single action. Probably my least favorite. Nothing wrong with the function. It functions fine. It's got a crappy painted on finish, similar to a Heritage Rough Rider, but I like the looks of a Heritage Rough Rider a lot more better. This looks like someone took a can of spray paint and sprayed the thing. It has inserts put into the cylinder right here. It has a barrel insert right there. It's a 6-shot, single action only. Same thing, half cock, to load it up right there. The cylinder's a little bit bigger, like a more full size old school revolver would be. I had to file down probably almost a 1/4 inch of that front side to get it to shoot point of aim, and took a little Sharpie and colored it there. Like I say, it's scratched really easy, cheesy plastic grips on there. Not my favorite. It does work. I can't bow out it. It doesn't, have any hang-ups. It's another Zamac, pistol like these, like Heritage Rough Rider or these Romes would be. you can't really knock Zamac. I mean, too awful much. You hear Zamac, but all it is zinc, aluminum, copper, and I think magnesium mixture. An alloy, aluminum alloy. But a lot of gun makers will use you'll see the words aluminum alloy. Like, I don't care what you say, Ruger or Walther or Henry. They'll aluminum alloy. Might be a little bit different mixture. Probably so, but what it is. Now this one I really hate. I hate to call it a beater, but my gun shop, you go in there, there's a nice, in front of display cases, there's a nice big wooden bench he had specifically made, for customers to sit on. And you sit on that bench and you get to stare at all the handguns and stuff. And this was, someone brung it in. It's sitting in the back of the display case for a long time. And he'd gotten off, someone brought it in to sell or trade on something. He had to replace the handles, and this was severely pitted. You can't see through the camera, but the outside of the cylinder is a little pitted, the barrel's pitted, you can see the little divots. So you're not really, you kind of see where this cover for the push rod here is kind of dented up there, big old chunk out of the trigger guard there. You're not going to blue it up. It's just too far for that. The rifling inside's fine. Inside the barrel's fine right there. So he Cerakoted it, and put it there in the display case. Now you can adjust the windage on this, nothing for the elevation. And this is in 22 Magnum, 6-shot, single action. And you see this is the old 3-screw right here. So this before the transfer bars, like the newer Rugers have. You see there is no transfer bar down in there. I sat there and I looked at it, and this gun started calling me, started, buy me, take me home. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore, and I went and bought it. And brought it back home. I think he's wanting to get rid of it out of his display case. But good shooter. Really good shooter. That's why, being it's a Ruger single 6, it does shoot good. I hate to say it's a beater, but it's in poor shape. Okay, here's another Rome. This is a Rome 66. This is 6-shot, single and double action revolver. Okay. No. This is single action only. I forgot. Single action only. 6-shot right there. But this one is in 22 Magnum. Kind of cool. Now, I will let you see something that's a little bit different about this Rome right here. It has a little steel piece on the rear sights here, and it's held in by a little screw right there. Let me see if I can get that in there where you can, might be able to see a little more. Now, I guess that, that's just so you can adjust your elevation up and down right there. But, it's possible maybe you can go a little bit side by side. You ain't got much room there, but you can move it there a little bit. But another chrome pistol. This one, has all steel, no inserts on the cylinder, and the barrel is all steel too, no inserts right there. And pretty decent shooter. Now, when we first bought this on a winter day, we was going to do a video, and Josh and I went out in the snow, probably about 6 inches of snow on the ground there, and us filming, and Josh shooting, and he loaded up there. And it's the one only time I've caught a squib on camera. I actually have. And a squib is, it's a light power round. It won't. You'll hear definitely different in the sound of them. And the round might go. You go poof, and what happens is the projectile gets stuck in the barrel. And we both said, seeing it hurt at the same time. I yelled, "Stop!" We got it and we looked at it, and sure enough, it was stuck halfway down the barrel. I had to get a cleaning rod and shove it out of there. Now, can you guess what kind of ammunition, 20 mag ammunition I was using when we had squib? That's right, Winchester. Okay. Here's another one I hesitate to call, a beater gun. The little Phoenix Arms 22 LR. Zamac frame, slide on it. The problem with these, they have a lot of safety. You have a hammer block safety. You have a slide safety right here. You have a magazine disconnect safety, which you can delete very easily. I'm not going to show you or tell you how to do it, but there's plenty of videos for it. This little thing has been a trooper. I put the paint in the front there. I put a little white up on this side here. You can adjust the sights for windage, nothing for elevation. Now, I like this so well, I went out and they got one they call a range kit, and it's more of a silver finish, not stainless or nickel or nothing, but it's just kind of silver coated. It comes, in the range kit, it comes with the 3-inch barrel like this one right here. It also comes with a 5-inch barrel along with some other goodies and stuff like that. Now, later on in the years, I was at a pawn shop and I found a black barrel for this one, a 5-inch black barrel, but it's blued. Kind of different. I got it for cheap. I bought it. It's just like I have it. Yeah, it was cheap. But these are great little guns. You're not supposed to use high velocity ammo in this. Repeated use of it, you can crack the frame. Say standard velocity. And these I've never had a bit of problem with these right there. Josh has, with this one and the one with the 5-inch barrel, it has both barrels, it's still at 100 yards with it recorded. Of course, Josh is a lot more steadier shooting than I am. I've got this one and the one with the 2 barrels, and I've got one in 25 ACP. I bought my son one of these, just like this one here, for Christmas or birthday or something like that. And they've all been great. They quit making these a few years back right there, and this is probably the last of the Rimfire guns. This one's or Jimenez, one of the two. But these were really great. You can still get parts of these, even when they're in business. You get the parts for real cheap, but still, someone bought up all the parts. They're selling the parts. You get the recoil springs and all that stuff. And like I say, you can do the magazine delete. But great little gun, heavy little gun, since it's Zamac right there. But it's I hesitate to call it a beater gun, but maybe I use this one on my beater gun, and the other one that's shinier, I'll call it my good gun. So, all right, this is definitely a beater gun. Jimenez JA-22. This is the exact same thing as the old Jennings J-22. 22, semi-automatic pistol, 6-round magazines, heel release on the magazine, fixed rudimentary sights on this thing. And when I bought this one, they're the cheapest handgun out there. Yes, cheaper than the High Point. So, and no, well, High Point's is a 22 years. I couldn't include this in here, but these came in all different colors. You get all different colors, and I got this one right here. I thought it looked pretty good. I did a lot of fluff and buff on this, little grinding, little sanding, little polishing and stuff, where I finally got this one to run halfway decent with CCI mini mags most of the time. So but it's definitely going to be in the beater category, I think. Now, one I don't have out here is definitely in the beater category is a Lorson L22. I have a couple Lorson pistols, but it's another Rimfire gun in 22, and I think it has a 9-round magazine in it, and I have it somewhere. Now I have multiple gun safes that are crammed full, spewing out almost, and I think that gun fell down amongst the rifles somewhere right there, and I'm not willing to dig out all the rifles to find it, but we'll give that one an honorable mention. So, all right, guys, let me know what you think. Would you consider them all beater handguns or not? And we want to see your beater rimfire handguns also right there, what you got. And one, I know some old timers might say, why didn't you mention putting in here? I have a Rock-On XTM 22 mag, semi-mag pistol, kind of 1911-ish looking right there as a beater, because I hate that thing. I won't even take it out as a beater. That's why. All right, guys. Let me know what you think. Get out your beaters and show us, and we'll talk to you next time.